Good day, my name is Braden and today I'm going to be showing you how to use the S900 device. So the S900 is a normal access control as well as time and attendance device. The device runs on 12 volt power, and as you can see it's got your navigation keys up over here, your normal standard keys down over here, a power down button over there, your menu button just over here, your escape button over there, and your backspace just over here. Now with this device it does also use a USB port over here, which is just on the side of the device, and it does also have a restart button which is just under this, right over there. This right over here is just the protective film from the lens. I've just removed it for the demo purposes of this video. So if we want to access our menu for the first time, we're just going to hold over here. That is your menu button. As you can see, now we're in the menu. This little close alarm option has appeared at the moment just due to the tamper not being held down as the device is not mounted. So we're just going to say OK. And as you can see, this is the menu that we get. So we've got user manage, comms, system, date and time, the download and upload, auto test, record, and system info. So I'm just going to go first and foremost to user management, as it's going to show you quickly how to enroll users. So now, as you can see, the menu that we get are new users, manage, SMS, word code, and access. We're not actually going to worry about the last three options. We're pretty much just going to worry about new user as well as manage. So let's first go to new user. This is going to be the first user on the device, which is going to be ID number 1. Now that ID over there pertains to the software as well with our software. And essentially what that would be is that would be enroll ID 1. So ID 1 over here needs to be enroll ID 1 on the software, just as ID number 5 would need to be enroll ID 5 on the software. It's just so that the two can link together and see what's going on. So what we're going to do first, we're going to say enroll FP, which is enroll fingerprint. You'll get this little menu over here. These three little bars over here represent the amount of times that you need to place the fingerprint down in order to capture it, and the fingerprint will appear just over here on the screen. So as I said, here is your reader over here. I'm just going to turn the device around so that I can capture quickly. Now you must note that you need to place your finger firmly in the middle. As you can see, it's now a success. So you place your finger firmly in the middle of the reader over there, and it will capture. So it's captured 3 times, each time successful, and it states success. So I'm going to say OK. Now I can capture another finger here, which I think I will. So I'm just going to do this again. As you can see, exactly the same thing, just using my thumb this time. 1, 2, and 3. Again, another success. So you can pretty much do this as many times as you want until you've captured all 10 fingers. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to capture my index and my thumb, so we're all done. So as you can see, now it states FP number 2 because we have enrolled 2 fingerprints. The next is going to be a password for this device. So it now asks for a password over here, max length 8 digits. For this, I'm just going to put in a simple password of 1, and then I'm going to go down and confirm it as 1. Then I'm going to say OK, and OK again. Now you can see this little key icon over there, and that little key icon basically just means that there's now a password enrolled. So for the next option, I'm going to say enroll card, and it asks to punch card. Now the cards that I have are these little enrollment cards here. They're usually plain. I've just labeled mine so that I don't get confused. So I'm going to just move the enrollment card past the little logo over here, and there we go. It's that easy. So there we go, there's our card ID with 00009040689. That ID pertains to the card and the card alone. And we're going to say OK. And there we go. Now we've got a card, a fingerprint, and a password all enrolled on this user. Next I'm going to go down to Purview. Now Purview is for between a user and an admin. So for the sake of this, we're going to actually make this an admin. And essentially what that will do is it will lock the device from other people being able to access it. So before where you saw I could just access the menu, I shouldn't be able to now. So I'm just going to say OK. And I'm going to say down and say OK over there. It's going to ask me to save. I'm going to say yes. And there we go. Takes us straight now to Enroll ID 2. So for Enroll ID 2, all I'm going to do now is I'm going to just enroll the card and only the card. Again, same story as before. Just move the card past over here, and there we go. Now our card is registered, and as you can see, it's a completely different ID. So we're going to say OK. We're going to keep this as a user instead, and we're just going to go down to OK and save. Yes, save. OK. I'm not going to enroll the third person. I'm just going to keep these as such, and I'm going to say escape, and escape, and escape again. So now when I hold the menu button over here, it's going to say admin affirm. So let's take user number 2, who was only a user, and try and get them into the device because they want to sabotage and delete clockings and just cause general mayhem.
Access denied.
As you can see, they do not have access though, because they are just a user. So let's take the admin card instead, and there we go. Held it a bit too close there, but as you can see, it does still unlock if it's the admin card. So I'm just going to say OK over there again. And that's pretty much the basics of enrolling. The other thing I wanted to mention was in terms of this. As you can see, we've got FP2 password with a key, card with the little card symbol, and on the ID number we've got a lock icon. Now that little lock represents the user being an admin. The FP just represents number of fingerprints. The password key represents that there is a password on the device, and the card icon states that a card has been recorded. So I'm just going to move this closer so you can see. User 2 directly underneath, fingerprints 0, password nothing, card registered though. So you can pretty much do it however you want. You could have people only registering on fingerprints, people only registering on cards, people only registering on passwords, or you could do them all three. You could do them just 2. It's any combination that you honestly want. So I'm just going to exit out of here now. I'm going to go back into my menu. I'm going to just place my thumb to get in.
Please try again.
I missed.
Please try again.
Okay. As you can see as well here, as a good example, I'm placing my thumb at an angle, and it's not allowing me in because it's not reading it at the correct angle, which is good. Essentially what you want is you want your employees to actually place their fingerprints down directly and firmly. So I'm just going to turn the device around to help myself out a bit.
Please try again.
Maybe I registered the wrong thumb.
Thank you.
There we go. Okay, so it's verified that fingerprint, and that would essentially count as a clock in, as I seem to have timed out of the menu. So I'm going to try and get back into my menu. There we go. And I'm now going to go to comms. And comms is essentially where we input the network details. You don't have to worry about those other 3 options over there. All you're going to worry about is network. Now, depending on who you are in the company, either your IT department will set up an IP address, a static IP address for you, or you are the IT department and you know exactly which IP address to set for the device. So, for those that don't know, the IP address will allow the device to communicate through the network to the software. So in this example, example, the IP address just stays as its default, which is usually always 192.168.1.201. Your subnet mask almost never changes, and your gateway will just depend on your company. So in this instance, we're just going to keep the default IP address and leave it as such, so we don't have to worry. If you do want to change the IP though, you just use the little number keys down over here to change it. But otherwise we will generally be the ones who work on this with your IT department in order to get the device up and running on the software. The date and time, should your network be down, you can set through here. Again, just navigating through everything and using the number keys. Then the last function that I would like to show you is just the DN upload function, and that is to download access data and attendance data via flash drive through the device. But you can also upload from one device to another device. So the download menu over here just shows you download @log, download user. You don't have to worry about this or this. So downloading @logs will download the attendance data from the device, and downloading the users will download the users from the device. All you'll say is you'll say, okay, at the moment I do not have a flash drive in this, so it will state pen drive not found. When it does have one, it will automatically download. All you do is wait, you say okay, and then you apply from there to wherever you want to use the flash drive. U-disk upload is when you have a flash drive that has data on it and you want to put that data on, and usually the data will be another user or multiple users. It'll all just depend. So all we would say is upload user, but as I said, pen drive not found. But from there it would just put them in. It would ask, it will tell you when it's ready, and all you would need to do is say okay, and you're set. So these devices are very, very, very simple to use. I find them to be one of the easiest. And yes, that's pretty much everything. Thank you.